are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. Week 18 of the NFL is complete, and the regular season has concluded. Wildcard weekend is up next. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, we are entering into the wild card weekend. A lot of things happen at those wild card games.
Oh yeah. And it looks like there might be some games that's impacted by that wildfire. And wild card is fun. Wildfire ain't.
No, our hearts go out to the people in Southern California. It's so devastating, those fires. Keep them all in your prayers.
All right, okay. Now, this week on Shout Out, we have performances from Siyiid. Will he find his shining star? Get the cold feel of the mute button. First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world, not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Minnesota Vikings wish they could fly far, far away from a beatdown by the Detroit Lions. Sam Darnold played like he was back on the Jets. Detroit played loose, and as if injuries will not keep them from a Super Bowl. Is this loss by the Vikings a sign they will be one and done in the playoffs facing the Rams? With the best record and the bye, is Detroit more Super Bowl bound than Kansas City? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, I'm just going to say the Vikings were emasculated by the Detroit Lions. I mean, it was just horrible. And just to think, the week before, the Viking players and coaches celebrated Sam Darnold in the locker room like they had won the Super Bowl. You remember the week before? They had a crazy celebration because, they was able to, I guess they got into the playoffs. But that was a crazy celebration. You would thought they won the Super Bowl the way they would put all that water on him and dump in the water and everything like he did something spectacular. Well, guess what? What a difference a week makes. Because it was horrible. He played poorly, like you said. The producer said he reverted back to Sam Darnold from the New York Jets. And it just was a bad game, So is this defeat a sign they will be one and done facing the Rams? No, I don't think so. Firstly, they play at SoFi, right? That's SoFi Stadium. To me, it's almost like a mutual ground because the Los Angeles fans, they're not that loud. I mean, they really don't root that much for their teams, and they give up most of their tickets to opponents' fan base. Because I don't know if you ever hear the fans anytime somebody's playing in LA, it seems like the other team's fans are louder than the LA fans. And secondly, with the devastating fires in Southern California, the NFL has a contingency plan to move that game to Phoenix. So it really will be on neutral ground. And finally, the Rams are not the team they were when they won the championship. Now with that being said, the Rams did beat the Vikings in Week 8, 30-20, which to me will give the Vikings all the advantage to review film and plan. I mean, the Vikings have been a much better team all season, and I really think they should win against the Rams. I think they should win this game. Now, Detroit Lions keep on winning. They just keep on winning, even though they have so many players on the injury reserve list. I just don't know how they're doing it. I guess it's a testament to Coach Dan Campbell. But to say they are more Super Bowl bound than Kansas City Chiefs, Absolutely not. I don't bet against Mahomes. I never bet against Mahomes. And the Chiefs have something greater to play for, to be the first team in the national football, to be first team in NFL history to win 3 Super Bowls in a row, to three-peat. No one has ever done that before in the NFL. Now, I don't know. Let's just say since the Super Bowl era, no one else has done that. The Super Bowl era. So that is something that is going to be a mark that the Kansas City Chiefs are looking for. So that's why I don't think Detroit is definitely more Super Bowl bound than the Chiefs. And and by the way, just a little trivia: the Miami Heat president Pat Riley, he owns the trademark for the phrase three-peat. So if the Chiefs win, you know Riley will receive a lot of money because all of those three-peat memorabilia, and will have to, they will have to get his permission to use the phrase. And I always wondered too, after they three-peat, do radio shows like podcasts, including Bras, Panties, and Sports, will we have to get permission to say three-peat? Anyway, I digress. Back to the question. I was just thinking about that. That three-peat has come up. It hasn't been a three-peat in a long time in any of the sports, to be honest with you. So that's why I was Riley, man. It's going to make some. But anyway, the Lions are not more Super Bowl bound than the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been there before, and they're not as injured as the Lions. And the Lions have been playing like they haven't. The Lions have been playing like they do not have any injuries, but injuries will catch up in the playoffs, and they're going to catch up. So I think the Lions will get to the championship game. I have to see if they're in line to get there to play the Eagles, but I think right now I would give the Eagles the edge, and I don't think they will be Super Bowl bound. That's because I just think with their injuries, those injuries are eventually will catch up to them, and it's just you can't play too many games and don't think that it's going to catch up. It just can't happen. So Spitface, what are you saying about this?
First Lady, when I look at the Vikings did get a beat down. That game was embarrassing. And there was a time when the Vikings had what they called the purple people eaters. And Detroit looked like they were the ones doing the chewing. Because they was eating up some purple. Now, but I don't think as bad as they played, as bad as Sam Darnold looked, there are those times. This might have been a beat down at the right time. And why I say that is that they're still in the playoffs. They got the best record out of all the wild card teams. So they're going to play until they get to, quote, like a big game. They're going to play the lesser. They're going to play the winning teams with the division winners with a lower record before they get back to playing Detroit if they do get that far. But I think that you get a beat down like that, that gives you like pause to look, see where you at, and go, you know what? If we don't bring our best game, our best efforts, we will lose. And this close, that's a wake-up call you get. It's Sam Darnold. He was seeing ghosts all over the place, and it's a wake-up call for him that, hey, my game, he got a lot on the line. His future contracts, has he been a Sam Darnold in disguise? Some other player, but, or it has the real Sam Darnold emerged, and this is how it's going to be. I'm looking at the Vikings and I'm looking at the Rams, and no way. The Rams, they did a great job to get into the playoffs, given all the injuries that they've had. But the thing is, the Vikings are actually a better team. They really are. They're a better team, and they're going to play a team in another dome. So, and if they have to go to neutral territory, then there's no real advantage for the Rams. Now, I will say that Stafford, he's had the experience and he has a ring. And that may keep the game close, but the Vikings will prevail. Now, with the best record in a bye, is Detroit more Super Bowl bound than Kansas City? Odds are no. They have some challenges ahead, and the thing that Detroit really has going for them is that they are a team that has some serious depth. And for most of the league, teams, their starters may be great, but when you start going below that first line, things drop off quickly. Detroit has been fortunate that I'd say their coach and their GM have not only created a culture, but they've brought in players in those secondary roles who they may not be able to go the distance, but they can do it. They may be able to fill in just enough. So season long, no way, but in a sprint, they can do the job. So they're not more Super Bowl bound than KC, because they got some competition that's coming up. Their Eagles. The Commanders could get hot. The Bucks, could all of a sudden, ramp up, which they've been on, Baker Mayfield playing out his mind at the moment. So, but I will say that Kansas City ain't exactly got it may not be smooth sailing for KC. It may not be, because teams know who they facing with KC. So it may not be so that they're so much super bound. And as far as that three-peat, since we ain't selling T-shirts, since we ain't selling T-shirts, old Grumpy said we could say three-peat all we want, First Lady. We ain't selling no T-shirts.
Yeah.
Can't go around. Sometimes you see, the Pat Riley know you ain't getting money that way. Okay, that's all I got to say, First Lady.
Yeah. It just came, because I was thinking three-peat, the last team to three-peat was the Lakers with Kobe, right? I don't know any other way, because it's never been done in the NFL. It's never been done. I don't remember in the NHL hasn't been done recently. Definitely hasn't been done in the baseball. So the basketball season.
Well, I have to check, but yeah.
I don't remember. Boston didn't.
I'm thinking them old Yankee teams back in, when they had black and white,
Anyway.
and just radio broadcasts and all that stuff that it might have been.
All right, Faith. Take up to you. You're next.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in bed, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering over the competition. I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to Jared Mayo of the Patriots and Antonio Pierce of the Raiders. in the way of being fired by their respective teams. Is it starting to look like black head coaches only get 1 year to turn things around, while losing coaches get at least a second year? And what we meant by that was, while non-black head coaches who've been losing get at least a second year. Patriot owner Robert Kraft says, "My bad for putting Jared in this situation. Gee, that was nice." Leroy Satchel Page, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking, what you saying? You know, I'm looking at the situation, and it is tough enough for black coaches to get the opportunity to be a head coach. So you got that challenge in itself. And then when you get there, usually you're on some remarkably terrible team, and management wants you to hurry up and get it turned around. And if you don't hurry up and get it turned around, then, bad pick at head coach. When it's like, look, you know, what did you give me? So, and even coaches who, given what they've been given, the assets that they have to work with, and that's the quality of the players, the quality of the organization, even if they do well, and, you know, at least start to get a little momentum going, well, it usually ain't quick enough, so we might as well get rid of you. And what comes to mind to me is Lovey with the Houston Texans. And not saying things didn't work out. Things probably worked out really well for the Texans, but how Lovey was treated, it's just like I'm looking at Peterson, for the Jaguars, and some of these guys, Eberflus. I think there's an Eber whatever, but he flushed his way out of Chicago. How many seasons did they let him go? Before they finally, because he was just so bad that they kicked him to the curb, in the middle of the season. And so it seems, and I'm gonna say it seems like black head coaches are put on a super short leash, and there's just no way given the latitude and the time to build. It's hurry up, this ain't working, and it's like, like I'm listening to Robert Kraft. My bad, I shouldn't have put Jared in this situation. I'm like, gee, just fire me. Just fire me. Go, hey, look, it didn't work out. I wish you well. Just fire me. Because that's like saying, well, I should have realized he didn't have the talent, to be the head coach, and I put him in over his head. Gee, thanks. So much for my coaching career. So, First Lady, are these black head coaches being treated fairly?
Well, it's a situation. The treatment of black head coaches, to me, is a microcosm of how black people are treated generally in life. We always have to work twice as hard as our white counterparts. We're always scrutinized more than our white counterparts. So when other white coaches with equally bad winning percentages are given another year, black coaches should be given that second chance too. Now, like you said, it doesn't happen. Black people are easily to get the hook right away, where you have all these bad coaches. What's his name? Eberflus for the Bears. He was given 2 years, but they did get rid of him this season, in the middle of the season. Well, not mainly, almost at the end, but it's still, he was given a longer leash, like you said, than black coaches are. Now, and the two coaches that were let go, Gerard Mayo, I really thought that was a disgraceful firing because he was hired directly by the owner, Bob Kraft. Bob Kraft deliberately chose him. And you chose him, but you don't give him the time to grow in the job, which you said he would. You know, you knew he didn't have previous head coaching experience, but you said he's going to grow in the job. But so much for growing in the job, you don't want him to grow in the job. So like you said, he said that he put him in a bad situation, and it was just too soon for him. Like you said, that ain't a good statement for you to say that it's too soon for him. So now, who else is going to give him a job? So, you know, the problem is he had a non-competitive roster, yet, to be honest with you, he had the exact same record that the greatest coaches, same record as one of the greatest coaches ever. That's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick had the exact same record as Mayo did. So to me, maybe he was ready. It just, again, it was the roster was the problem. But, you know, the rumor is that Kraft wants Mike Vrabel now as the head coach, and possibly Josh McDaniels will return as the offensive coordinator. Now, Mike Vrabel was available last year before Kraft hired Mayo. I'm not sure if he just wanted to take more time. So I think that was the whole issue. Now that Vrabel may be ready to get back into coaching, so he's going to dump Gerard Mayo and hire Mike Vrabel. I mean, that's not the right thing to do. I mean, that doesn't speak volumes about Bob Kraft. Now, well, you know, when you look at the other situation with Antonio Pierce, I don't think he got a raw deal now. I mean, I don't think so, because he was given actually a year and a half to display his abilities. If you remember, he took the helms last season midway. He had 9 games to prove himself, and he went 5-4 down the stretch, and that was the reason why he was hired as the head coach. However, this season has been very disastrous for the Raiders. You know, they started off 2-2, and then they lost 10 straight games. Furthermore, he had that social media incident with Devontae Adams when he liked a fan's post that called to trade Adams. I mean, when he did that, you knew he was dead coach walking, because you're going to lose the trust of your players when you do things like that in the social media arena. I mean, you need to stay away from social media, especially when you're talking about your players. So to me, his firing was not a surprise. So I didn't think that one was the issue, but definitely the Gerard Mayo, to me, was a bad situation, and it was very bad on Kraft to fire him. And I just think he was only fired because Mike Vrabel was ready to go back into coaching, and that doesn't say anything about Bob Kraft. It really doesn't. But anyway, that's all I'm saying, Spitface.
At first, Sadie, I just wonder, is Kraft getting ready to turn into Jerry? You know, now that, you know, Bill is gone and Brady gone, and now we you know, you get spoiled having them Super Bowl rings. So, you know, we shall see. First Lady, you had a last word. Please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Siyiid on Shout Out Part 1.
The music flows in from around the globe. To get a shout out from the panel, First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Siyiid.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of Shout Out, we are featuring music from Siyiid out of Philly from his hit holiday album, Note to Self. They say, quote, Philly-born hip-hop songwriter, I pen a message into every song. something you can relate to, something you can vibe with, something you can sharpen your perspective, whether it's about faith, wisdom, love, or aspiration. Enjoy. All right, DJ, let's hear the first track from his hit album.
Always all alone, I might just be alone, be alone. Always by myself, I might just be alone, be alone. Solo making moves, I might just be alone, be alone. All that probably proves I might just be alone, alone. Yeah, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. They don't wanna ride, then I go alone. Making moves by yourself, that's how you know you grown. Major key in life, we know as if you slow, you blown. Opportunities, these lessons I put in a poem. Most complainers won't do nothing, they just like to groan. And I decided that's behavior I don't like to clone. I put my hands to the plow, nose to the grind. Getting busy and success, those intertwined. And plus I know my life is blessed, the road been divine. When you taking all the steps, your soul tend to shine. I'm so fluorescent, hours I hold is precious like diamonds inside a necklace of the passive. I'm so aggressive, but I ain't about the drama, although I'm young and I'm restless. But time equals dollars, don't think I'm dumb and I'm reckless. And weeks come from hours and hours, minutes and seconds. And I'm a firm believer, no better time than the present, Always all alone, I might just be alone, be alone. Always by myself, I might just be alone, be alone. Solo making moves, I might just be alone, be alone. All that probably proves I might just be alone, alone. Yeah, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. They say that time waits for not a soul. And I'm no different if it's sick and then I gotta roll. Hit the ignition, might be missing on my pot of gold. I chuck the deuces, rev the pistons, yelling adios. Goodbye, I got some things to do and things to see. And everybody ain't as bodied as they seem to be. They say regret is a sickness that you catch late in life. Symptoms come from decisions you never made in life. The hourglass almost empty, no time to make it right. So I decided to move, despite who moving with me. My homies know how I do, despite who do it with me. Time, I ain't planning to lose, cause people's mood is shifty. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm off a team effort, but ain't no team if it's gonna mean I let my dreams fester. I made my mind up to never settle for things lesser. Trying to make up time that you lost, now that's extreme pressure. Always all alone, I might just be alone, be alone. Always by myself, I might just be alone, be alone. Solo making moves, I might just be alone, be alone. All that probably proves I might just be alone, alone. Yeah, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. Hey, I might just be alone. Alone.
I'm sorry, the spit face is Loner getting a shout out or the mute button. I think I muted myself there.
I'm giving Siyiid a definite shout out. Yeah, I kind of like one. I didn't get the full line, but most complainers just like to groan, and that is so true. I'm shouting it out.
All right. I'm giving the track a shout out also, Spitface. I thought the record was well produced with the music fitting his rapping style, and it was hot. I enjoyed that. It was definitely a good sound for Siyiid. So on part 2 of Shout Out, we'll be featuring another performance from Siyiid. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend. Is it time for Flip It?
They call me Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see is smarter than me. And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonders, lying there under the sea.
Time for Flip It. While hosts defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. We wonder. More dangerous in the playoffs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Los Angeles Chargers? Defend. Baker Mayfield and the boys are hot and rolling. Lot more dangerous than the Chargers. First Lady, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland fans. I just had to talk about this for a minute. I know Cleveland fans are going, Baker Mayfield got us to the playoffs, I think twice during his years at the Browns. And they can only imagine that, maybe he would have grown as a quarterback, sort of like what has happened over the past few years, going from team to team and finally, I'll say, finding a home with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the man grew. He grew. Some players, actually are better than they were years ago. They got seasoned. They adapted. They learned. And Baker is like a dangerous quarterback. And, I give Herbert mad props. He's a bad boy. And his future is definitely bright. But with that, I just go that between the two, I'd rather have Baker right now. Because when you got a dangerous hot quarterback whose team is starting to play like they can win something and make some real noise, ooh, buddy. The Chargers are playing over their heads right now. They're playing over their heads, and my man, that's right, my man, Harbaugh, got them boys doing it. But there is a point where talent will win the day. And right now, the Chargers need some pieces, and looking at Baker Mayfield and the boys, they in a great position. So right now, if I'm sitting up here, especially in where they are in the NFC, you don't want to play them. You do not want to play them. And so it's going to be an interesting ride, but they are a lot more dangerous than the Chargers. First Lady, defend.
I look at it like this. Baker Mayfield and the boys, that offense right now is red hot. They are well balanced. Baker has passed for over 4,500 yards with 41 touchdowns for the year. Mike Evans has catched over 1,000 yards per year. And Bucky Irvin has rushed for over 1,000 yards. So this offense is very elite. This offense averages 454 yards per game. And the Bucs are playing, the Bucs are not playing the Chargers, but they playing the Texans. So I think the Bucs are definitely the more dangerous team to go on, more so than the Chargers. Now, even though the Chargers have a head new coach, Herbert has a history of underperforming in the playoffs. They had a collapse, if you remember, against the Jaguars in 2022, and Herbert's only playoff appearance. He had an 84.7 passer rating that series. He threw for 273 yards and only had one touchdown. Baker's playoff record is 2-2, but he has more experience as a quarterback in the playoffs. And this Bucs team is always more seasoned than the Chargers team. I mean, the Bucs are definitely a more dangerous team than the Chargers because I just find the Chargers always they just always come up very small in big games. And Baker Mayfield, you know, he's always been an underdog, but he just has that winning mentality. And I just think the Bucs offense is too hot, and they just got too many weapons. Too many weapons. So definitely the Baker and the boys, they are truly a more dangerous team than the Chargers.
All right. Okay. Well, you know that this is Flip It. Well, we flipped the script, and let's flip it. Defend. Harbaugh has his team believing they are more dangerous than them Bucs. And, you know, one of the things that Jim Harbaugh did was when he came in, and this is what players say, he has every player feel as if in the coach's mind they're the best player in the world, that they can beat anybody. And he just has that. Players love Jim Harbaugh because he gives them that kind of spirit. And sometimes that will allow you to play above your weight. And right now, the Chargers are playing way above their weight. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't get squatted down. That doesn't mean that they will play the Chiefs and make it to the Super Bowl. But that makes them incredibly dangerous. One, because they're easy to underestimate. And two, Harbaugh got some tricks up in his bag. And he always does. He has some tricks up his bag. And those tricks will allow the Chargers to sneak. See, they're dangerous because they sneaky. They sneaky. You know, I would say the Bucs actually have a better personnel, but it's what you do with them. And nobody works that personnel as good as Harbaugh. And you might think that the Broncos, who wants to play them? Everybody. Because Broncos playing good, but they can be beat. They can be seriously beat. And winning against the Chiefs, the last game of the season, when the Chiefs were playing, basically the water boy and the cheerleaders, does not mean that you are a threat to anybody. But them Chargers, serious threat. And unexpected, and that alone is dangerous. When it's unexpected and teams believe that they can do. And Harbaugh has this team believing they can do. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
All right. Well, the Chargers are also a hot team entering into the playoffs. They had a 3-game winning streak, whereas, they're playing the Texans. And, the Texans are limping into the playoffs at 1-2. And the Texans have several injuries. But Justin Herbert really has been balling. He has a consistent run game with J.K. Dobbins. Now, that's the one thing that Harbaugh has done. Harbaugh looked at the offense of the Chargers and realized they relied too heavily on Herbert just throwing the football, but never having a run game. So that was one thing that Harbaugh did. He made sure that he ran the football, and J.K. Dobbins was that runner. So this allows Herbert to use more play action, which opens up his passing game more. And that's why he got a passing rating of 101.7 and has thrown for over 3,800 yards. And he has 23 touchdowns with only interceptions. So, that's made a big difference in Justin Herbert's abilities, and to add that run game, and that's what Harbaugh has done. And also the Chargers defense is definitely ranked much, much higher than the Buccaneers defense. The Buccaneers used to have that great defense, but that ain't the Buccaneers defense from the same year that Brady and then won the championship. That defense is long gone. But the Chargers, that's another thing Harbaugh did. He wanted to make that defense a little bit more serviceable than it had been. They are ranked number 11 in the league, which is, there's over 30 teams in the league, so that's like 30 teams. So 11 is right there in the middle, but it's a little bit better than being in the middle. So it was a great, upgrade from where they were. So, I mean, I know you said he has them believing, but Harbaugh is a good coach. I mean, that's what this team needed. That's what Justin Herbert needed. They needed somebody to change their entire culture. And like you said, Spitface, they have them believing that they can win. But they are performing on the field, which I think they're going to perform well. And the Bucs, the Bucs are a team. It depends. If Baker's on, they can win, but they're not consistent. And I think the Chargers have been really consistent this year with Jim Harbaugh. That's what he has brought to this team. They're a very well balanced team that can run, that can pass, that can play defense. And that's why I think the Chargers are definitely a more dangerous team than the Bucs.
All right, First Lady. We shall see how it plays out this wild card weekend. All right, and First Lady, over to you for more flipping.
Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, if they were both available, who would you choose on your team? Spitface, the Fed. Saquon is the easy choice with his versatility.
First Lady, first off, I would try to get both of them. I try to get both of them. But I know you can't get them both. And, I really like both of them. I really do. Derrick has been in the league a little bit longer, so he's not going to be around as much longer as a Saquon Barkley. So that in itself, you still got Saquon, who fortunately didn't get ran to death by the Giants, and really was kind of just wasn't used right. Of course, the Giants, were equal opportunity, not using their players right. So he wasn't the only player. He just happened to be the one true star on the team. And for goodness sake, he got the hell up out of the Giants and landed in that beautiful spot with the Eagles. And the man could have had the rushing record, for a single season. Could have had that. He was right there. So I think the other part is that you can really see that it's like leave the Giants and all of a sudden, he's playing like a second year, third year player, not a player that's not a seasoned vet. So you like, whoa, what is he gonna do next year? What is he gonna do during these playoffs? And what is he gonna do next year? So if I'm gonna choose the team, I'm gonna choose one of them. Saquon, Henry has a little more length on the tooth than Saquon. So I'm going to go with the guy that's versatile and has more playing years left. So got to go with Saquon. That's what I'm saying, per se.
Well, yeah, Saquon is younger and rather better than Henry, and Yeah, the age is a big difference. I mean, Saquon's, 27? Derek is 31. So he is long in the tooth. I mean, Barkley is, like you said, he is more versatile than Henry because Barkley can run down the middle, outside, catch the ball. He does a lot of catching the ball as a receiver a lot too. I mean, he can really do it all. He has the more superior per game numbers because he has more explosive runs this year than Henry does. Barkley actually had the chance to break Eric Dickerson's record for most yards in a season, and he really should have gone for that record. I don't understand why they didn't, but then again, they mean they would have to play the offensive line, and that means if anybody got injured, Nick Sirianni would have been laughed out of Philadelphia, so he didn't do that. But Barkley just does everything well all the time. He like I said, he's just so versatile. I mean, the Giants really wish they could use him now. They chose him over Daniel Jones, and look what happened with Daniel Jones. They got rid of Daniel Jones anyway. But, Saquon has more years left on his wheels than Derek does. But Saquon definitely, like I said, he can do everything. If you need him to break a tackle, he can break a tackle. He can go to the right. He can go to the left, go through the middle. He can catch the ball all the time. So he's definitely the more versatile player. And if I had to choose, I definitely choose Saquon over Derek because of because of his versatility, because of the years left to play, and I just think you can use him more often than you can use Derrick Henry too. That's another thing. So, all right, let's flip it. Defend. Derrick Henry is still that bruiser who helps wear down the opponent. He's a better choice.
All right. What I like about Derrick Henry is what Lamar Jackson likes about Derrick Henry. When they added Henry to the mix, I'll just say that made the Ravens a brutal force. And it definitely, they're the kind of team that in many ways have this fantastic quarterback who can, darn near do everything during the game, including selling popcorn in the stands. And he was pretty much doing that. And Derrick Henry steps in, and he's having another MVP season. And he's not having to take a lot of the risks he was taking before Derrick Henry. So he still runs with the ball. But a lot of it, he's like, look, I got my man Derrick. And Derrick is bowling him over. And not just bowling him over occasionally, bowling them over consistently, where they can grind and pound. And they will grind and pound, and that clock keeps ticking and control the game. Now, not that Saquon can't be used that way, but sometimes that versatility and the fact that he can break one, they score a point, but then the other team has time to come back. And Derrick Henry is going to allow your team to eat up clock and control. And oftentimes it's that, can we control the clock to keep that other team from having time to score? And and Henry is set up to win now. Henry's not going to be playing in 3 years. In 3 years, it'll be like, hey, time for me to hang this sucker up. Right now, you can get the big man bruising, before he leaves out the door, and defenses know they have to defend him. If I want to win now, and I want to, have that overpowering team, Henry's the man. No slight to Saquon, but if I'm right now, I want Henry. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Yeah, okay, yes. You said you want to win now. All right. Now, like you said, Derrick Henry is, to me, like a demolition machine. He has run over every player in his way. I mean, to me, which is more devastating than a Saquon Barkley as a rusher, because Henry will just bruise you. He just mow you over, and he'll hurt people out there on the other team. And he's like an energized bunny. He just keeps on ticking. Now, Barkley is versatile, but Barkley is not a bruiser the way Derrick Henry is a bruiser. And Barkley has had some injuries throughout his year, whereas Derrick Henry has been consistently all year, every year, for many years. Very seldom is Derrick Henry hurt. Very, very seldom is he been hurt. And Derrick Henry has made Lamar Jackson a better quarterback. Is it a coincidence that Lamar is having his best statistical year as a quarterback? He's having his best year as a quarterback because of Derrick Henry. That was the problem. They relied too much on Lamar Jackson. And we all know Lamar doesn't have that arm strength the way some of these other quarterbacks do. So, Lamar's a rushing quarterback. And, he could do dink and dunks. So, but the fact that you have Derrick Henry now, you're scared Derrick Henry's going to break a tackle or so that's the reason why Lamar has thrown the ball much better since Derrick Henry is on this team. So, with all that said, it shows you how Derrick Henry can make quarterbacks much, much better. And to be honest with you, I don't know, Saquon hasn't made Hurts better. As a matter of fact, Hurts has kind of regressed this year. And it's not that it's a problem with Saquon. It's just that the style of running is a little bit different. And like you said, Fitface, Derrick Henry is because he's like a demolition machine. They do eat up a lot of time, and that's interesting because with Saquon will break tackles so quickly that he has these long runs significant runs. Next thing you know, the Eagles are scoring. So they don't really eat up a lot of time when Saquon is doing his running, whereas Derrick Henry is a different story. It's just consistently, he'll run for 10 yards, 15 yards, but it's consistently, and that eats up the time. And then it gives Lamar chances to throw the football, and he's been throwing the football quite well since Derrick Henry has been on that team. So, yes. At this point in time, depending on your quarterback, I think I would take Derrick Henry as the better choice over Saquon Barkley. But, like you said, Spitface, if you had a choice, I definitely would take two of them too. But you're not going to have that choice, so you definitely got to pick one, and I'm going to pick Derrick Henry because he's been doing it consistently for so long, and he's a bruiser. He's a bruiser. Demolition Man. Demolition Man.
Was Sylvester Stallone in that movie?
What's his name was in? What's the Demolition Man? Oh gosh. Oh no, I can't think of his name right now. The black actor, Wesley Snipes. Wasn't Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man?
But he was in it, but wasn't. Who did he play counter to?
Oh, okay, maybe Sylvester Stallone. I just remember Wesley Snipes in it, but anyway, right. Spitface, please take us to break.
On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Siyiid on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, on the second part of Shout Out, we are featuring more music from Siyiid. Let's hear Like Me. Like Me.
What it did to me, Think my trials made me harder than the asphalt. When problems come, I swear crying is my last thought. So many liars misguide you with the fast talk. That's why I move careful like a model on a catwalk. Stepping like a lion on Sahara Plains. King of my domain, got a head of grades. Wisdom I'm applying in my better days. Finally found my way up out of hellish maze. Singing ad-labs like I'm Etta James. Divorced from the drama when I separate ways. On the passions that was greener than the Everglades. Just enjoying nature in the pair of shades. In the past pathways to peace had a barricade. Now life is like a song, here's serenade. I just wanna walk in purpose like a pair of J's. Tragedies from out my last chapter, you could say the page. Rise from the gutter. No, it ain't another. Rise from the gutter. No, it ain't another like me. Like me. Like me. Like me. Like me. Still rise from the gutter. No, it ain't another. Rise from the gutter. No, it ain't another like me. Like me. Like me. Like me. No, it ain't another like me. Think my trials made me harder than a steel ride. Close my eyes in the night and try to feel God. Hear his voice saying, son, you know you still mine. Never give up on tomorrow, you alive, it's still time. Yeah, lot of sand in the hourglass. Ride the highway of life till you out of gas. And never look back, boy, not a glance. And never stop believing that I got a plan. Write the vision down and make it plain. Then make another list of places, people, favorite things. And if it make you strain, then make it disappear like David Blaine. Clean house, I'm the butler, no suit inside. Taking nothing to the grave, every gift I utilize. My children say he gave it all when they eulogize. Talk about my struggles and my strength, so I'm humanized. Now when the chorus switch them like me's for some you and I. Rise from the gutter. No, it ain't another. Rise from the gutter. No, it ain't another like me. Like me. Like me. Like me. Still rise from the gutter. No, it ain't another. Rise from the gutter. No, it ain't another like me. Like me. Like me. No, it ain't another like me.
All right. First Lady, what's the verdict? Is Like Me getting a shout out or the mute button?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shout out. I like the first track a lot better than I did this track. This track almost was like a gangster rap track to me. It's kind of rough. It's kind of rough there a little bit, but yeah. But he still got good rapping skills and everything. So I'm gonna shout it out. Definitely gonna shout it out. Just like the first one a lot better.
Well, I'm giving it a big old shout out, and if there's one thing, Siyiid has some versatility. You know, he got some skills. I like him. That is the end of shout out. You can check out Siyiid on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent at oldgrumpyradio.com. Now, if you don't send it to talent at oldgrumpyradio.com, guess what? We won't see it. First Lady, over to you.
All right, it's time for the picks. We are on the Wildcard round 2024 season. All right, so let's go to last week's results of the regular season. Woo! Things have kind of changed. All right, I had another bad week. I was at minus 400 million points. Spitface, you were at 200 million points. Dizzy Mac was at 300 million points. So the standings have changed. Leading is Spitface with 2,623 million points. I dropped down to second with 2,473 million points. And Dizzy Mac is not too far behind with 1,833 million points. So you in the lead, Spitface. I've been pretty much leading for most of the season, and then it just fell apart. All right, so let's get to these new games. And these are the gotcha game, the Saturday gotcha game. I wanted to pull it up. Okay, Saturday gotcha game. We have the Chargers versus the Texans, and these points are worth 250 million points. Chargers for the Texans. All right, so I wrote down a team here. I don't know. I'm changing my mind. I am going to change my mind. These were some tough wild card games to pick, and let me tell you the reason why. I had the Texans, but the Texans have not been playing well at all. And the Chargers are on a roll, and the Texans are kind of injured. Even though they're playing at home, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I initially had the Texans, but I'm changing it to the Chargers. Dizzy Mac, we're going to have to get his results later, but Spitface, who do you have?
Yeah, First Lady, I think I've been like you. I've been flipping back and forth all week long. Chargers, Texans. But I'm going to roll with the Texans, the home team. Their defensive star, who was suspended, will be back, and I think overall that they will squeak out the victory. So I'm going to go with the Texans.
Well, the wise guys had the Chargers. Well, it's not the wise guy. It's they had the Chargers. It's what people put the money on. A lot of people put money on the Chargers. But anyway, now the next game, Steelers versus the Ravens. Spitface, who do you have?
Gotta go with hey, I gotta go with that bowling ball running down the field. I'm going with the Ravens.
I've been going back and forth with this. Common sense tells me to pick the Ravens, but the Steelers have lost 4 straight games, and in that losing them 4 straight games, they played the Ravens, and actually they played the Ravens quite tough. Now, Steelers usually play Lamar. That was the first time Lamar has beaten the Ravens. Has beaten the Steelers. He's never beaten the Steelers until a couple of weeks ago. But I don't know. Everybody has counted the Steelers out of this. I know that's 250 points, man. If I was ahead, you know what? I just think Tomlin can't let this team lose 5 straight games in a row. That's just too much. I think the Steelers are going to win. I'm going to say the Steelers. I think Tomlin could plan for Lamar Jackson. The more you see him, the easier it is to plan for. So I'm going to go with the Steelers. All right. I just wish it wasn't 250 points. But anyway, let's move on. The winners versus the losers, these are worth 100 million points. The Broncos versus the Bills. Spitface, who do you have?
Bills.
I have the Bills too, but that's not an easy game either for the Bills. That's not an easy game. All right. the Packers versus the Eagles. Well, see, now that I know Jalen Hurd is playing, there's question about what's his name? Love? Jordan Love. There's some questions regarding his hand or finger or something like that they would say. So I'm going to go with the Eagles, and you have the Eagles, right?
I'm rolling with Saquon.
Yeah, you said it. Oh, you didn't say
Me and the running backs are rolling with each other this week.
Yeah.
Henry
right.
and Saquon.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. These are some darn good wild card games because some of them are like you don't know who's going to win. So that's what the wild card, because wild cards usually mean they're mediocre, right? They're not the top people. But anyway, Sunday Night Madness, 500 points. Commanders versus the Buccaneers. All right. I went first last time, Spitface. I think you go first this time. Who do you have, Commanders or the Buccaneers?
This is a tough one because Jaden has pulled some rabbits out the hat. But I'm rolling with my man Baker.
You went with Baker.
Give me the Bucs.
Oh, actually, you went first. I went first. You went first last time. I'm rolling with the Commanders. I'm rolling with the Commanders. I think they got a better defense than the Bucs too. So I'm rolling with the Commanders. They are playing at home, but I'm going to go roll with the Commanders. All right, Monday night, Mind Warp. 500 million points. Vikings versus Rams. Oh, I am going to go with the Vikings. I just think that was an aberration that they had a beatdown last week. I think the Rams have not been all that spectacular this year. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. Bitface, who do you have?
I'm going with the purple. I think they will rebound from that beatdown.
All right. Okay. That's it, right? That's all the games.
Unless you know something, that's all the games last week.
That's all the games. It's going to be very exciting. So a lot of good games, I can tell you that much. All right. Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
Ooh, the college football playoffs. What is Notre Dame going to do?
Sure, that is the top story to watch. And, I mean, obviously, the other top story to watch is the wild card games, right? Who's going to win these wild card games? That's it. We're still on the week. So who's going to win these wild card games? And we shall see. It should be interesting. I mean, if you bet on football, that's tough to be betting on these games. That's tough to be betting on these games. Anyway, all right. Check out our current and previous episodes at brawspantiesandsports.com and our Facebook page, BPN Sports. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk. As Spitface, you have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.